Hamilton keeps it. Touchdown.
And we've got to thank God every minute of every day. It's your boys. It's One Live Stu, Ryan Stewart. And, of course, the Heisman runner-up himself, Mr. Joe Hamilton. His mama called him Joseph. This is In the Huddle with Joe Ham. And I'm being your co-host, Ryan Stewart. Thank y'all for being here. Thank y'all for pulling up. We really appreciate it. Y'all make sure that you check the subscribe button. So whenever a show is coming on Stewart Media and Entertainment on YouTube or any other platform that we utilize, you will know when it's going on, when it's going down, and you'll be able to join us. So y'all, please make sure that you subscribe to the network and make sure that you are a part of the place when the place shows up. Hey, good morning, Joe, man. How you feeling, sir?
Happy, Stu, blessed, right on par with what the good Lord has said, that you know, he's given us brand new mercy each and every day. And I'm thankful for that, Stu. And I'm thankful for sports. I'm thankful for my family. I'm thankful for you, dog. I'm just really, really grateful. And I must admit, man, since the Super Bowl, football is back quicker than normal.
It's crazy.
And outside of family and love and Jesus and God, and you know where I'm going with that, football drives me. It drives me. Competition drives me. Sports in general drives me. There's no doubt. I love sports. I love interacting. I can do other things as far as fishing, hunting. I like those type things. Leadership, mentor. Those are fun, man. But my goodness, man, I'm a football junkie. You hear me? And now that guys are reporting, now that, you know, my son is getting ready to go to camp, you can smell the green grass. It's about to be August. I mean, for 48 years, I would say 48, but 38 years, my life has been around football. I can't wait till this point on the calendar. So I'm doing great, man. Outstanding, matter of fact.
Absolutely love it, man. Rookies will actually be heading to camp this week, like in a couple days.
Well, some reported yesterday. Yes, absolutely.
So it got us to thinking, man, and one thing that we're going to do today, I want to talk to you about it first because, you know, we typically throw ideas and thoughts across the table about what we should do or how we want to do it, a rundown in order. You know, it's somewhat of a playbook for today's show. Sometimes we stick to it. Sometimes we circumvent the system. Sometimes certain things take off and the show goes its own direction, which I'm a fan of. I love when things happen on this platform organically. We talking about our preseason predictions, AFC favorites, NFC favorites, who we think will win the different divisions when it comes to the AFC East, North, West, South, as well as NFC East, North, West, and South. Is that still something that we want to do, Joe, or do you want to go in a different direction? Please let me know.
Well, I absolutely want to do that, Stu. However, you know, it's hard because you and I don't hold each other that accountable to whatever we say on July 16th about predictions and who we think will win, say MVP or the NFC North or the AFC Conference or NFC Conference. We're not going to hold each other to the fire if something happens. That's what I love about you so much. You're not such a competitor that you want to win or debate or win or predict something that we all have the, you know, jokes are within the jokes or, you know, wins are within wins. But what if somebody goes down with a knee injury? All right, what if something happens to a star wide receiver? And I know you have to fight through injuries, but right now, if Baltimore, knock on wood, would lose Lamar Jackson, we wouldn't pick Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens to do anything, whereas we might pick them right now. But as the season goes along, and I'm not talking about them playing bad. Now, that's one different thing. If you're picking the Buffalo Bills to represent the AFC, and then all of a sudden, you know, they can't get first downs. All of a sudden, they can't stop anybody. That's not any excuses. That's coaching and somebody else comes along. But I would like to take increments, Stu. I would like to take increments in the part about who's the newcomer that you see coming on the block. because my research tells me that there are teams, or maybe a team that did not make the playoffs last year that will make the playoff this year.
Right.
There are teams or a team that was in the playoff last year and they would not make it this year.
Right.
According to what circumstances, according to the fluke, the ball just bounced their way, a little bit of luck involved, because even some great coaches and great quarterbacks and great players, they will tell you to hold up that Lombardi trophy, there's some luck involved.
Yeah.
There's some luck involved.
No
So
doubt.
I would rather us, Stu, take it division by division, conference by conference, and in right before September, the opening night, that Thursday night, I think is maybe Kansas City, and I'm not sure who's the opening night that Thursday. I'll look that up, but I think we make our predictions about Super Bowl at that point in time.
Okay. So based on what you just said, and this is In the Huddle with Joe Ham. I'm your boy, One Live Stu, Ryan Stewart. Don't forget to catch the 2 Live Stews every Monday and Thursday at 7 a.m. right here on YouTube, right here on Facebook, Instagram. We're all over the place. But it's Stewart Media and Entertainment. With what you just said, on the heels of what you just said, is it safe for me to guess that the AFC North, as it stands right now, if health was not an issue, you're going with Baltimore?
Absolutely. And where we stand right now, that's one of the toughest divisions in football.
Yes.
In football, and that is excluding the Cleveland Browns, because I don't think Cleveland Browns, they will upset some people. They will win some games they aren't supposed to win, but I can't put them up with the cream of the crop. But the competitiveness at the very
what happens if I'm glad you brought the Browns, and you're right. The North consists of the Ravens, Steelers, Bengals, and Browns, and I think everybody in that league will compete, and health will be a big part of it. Is Henson, the DN for the Bengals, going to get signed? Is Shador going to find a way to get the ball in his hands and get on the field? Because all it takes for the Cleveland Browns to turn a corner is a spark. And is it possible, with what we've seen and heard all season after the draft, with Shador being taken in the 5th round, and the progress that he's continued to make, the good things that I've continued to hear about him, I hadn't heard anything negative and or bad about him on the football field, in the building, at the facility. I hadn't heard anything negative or bad. So if he was to get the nod, could he be the elixir to the fire starting for them and them finding some success? We know they've got defense. We know they've got players. We know Stefanski can coach.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I mean, again, I'd be a fool to think anything other than Baltimore when it comes to that division. But there's still some opportunities for a few different people that's in that division in my eyes.
Yeah, you're spot on. But I would say this about the Cleveland Browns, Stu. Shador Sanders is not going to win this quarterback job. That's a news flash. That's not a hot take. That's not, something that, I came up and dreamed up that, hey, I got something that nobody else knows. He's not going to win the job coming out of training camp, Stu. If Shador Sanders grabs the Cleveland Browns by the horns and lead them, because I think he can, it's going to be somewhat of how Brock Purdy got on the football field. Remember, Brock Purdy got on the football field when 2 quarterbacks went down. I think it was Garoppolo, and then the backup went down, and then he was forced into action, and he was ready. No doubt about that, he was ready. So for him to fight through limited reps and fight through 2 other quarterbacks to start in September, that's not going to happen. Will things fall down, bad play, maybe injuries, lend him to being in there? Yes, and I firmly believe that when he gets in there, that is it. It's Shador Sanders and the Cleveland Browns from that point of view. But my goodness, man, the Cincinnati Bengals shored up that offense, got guys signed. Like you said, Hendrickson, if he can get signed, that's a formidable defense. They're not going to lose the games down to the wire that they lost last year. You have to give Mike Tomlin and the Pittsburgh Steelers, Aaron Rodgers, DK Metcalf, TJ Watt, which is so surprising that he might go into the camp without a contract, an extension, the moves they've made. So, but the cream of the crop, I think there's still the cream of the AFC is the Baltimore Ravens.
Okay. All right. You're not ishing on Josh Allen when you say that. You're not ishing on Patrick Mahomes when you say that.
Well, because again, I'm gonna have to, and I'm evolving to put last year to bed when I'm evaluating now.
Right.
Okay, and so that's
Right.
why I love these QB lists.
You're
That's why I
coming
love
into it.
these.
You're coming into it saying that there's no attachment to last season.
Yeah.
Your projections or predictions for this upcoming year is totally based off what you've seen and or heard going into this season. Nothing to do with last season.
Well, the only thing to do with last season is the trajectory where you were heading off of last season.
Okay.
I mean, I'm gonna have to base it a little bit off of your offensive line coming back, your defense coming back. Who did you lose to free agency? Did you lose a coach? Would you say your boys, the Detroit Lions, that they should pick up right where they left off at, losing both coordinators? That's what I'm talking about. You can't look at Detroit Lions and say automatically they're going to be there, which the talent is still there. But losing, Poole and losing Ben Johnson, that's dramatic, brother. That's dramatic. So that's what I'm saying. So I'm doing my homework. I'm doing my research. I'm seeing about injuries. I'm seeing about matchups because the Kansas City Chiefs, that's going to be a much better team that made it to the Super Bowl last year. They addressed their weaknesses, offensively and defensively. So it's going to be settled on the football field, no doubt.
And there's no doubt or no question that out there in the AFC West, the Chiefs are the cream of the crop. But what is Harbaugh going to do in San Diego? He can't be overlooked. Sean McVay, not McVay, Broncos, Sean.
Oh, no, you're talking about Sean Payton. Yeah.
Sean Payton and what he accomplished last year in Denver with a rookie quarterback. You know they've always got defense. And Pete Carroll's now back with the Las Vegas Raiders. And they had an incredible offseason in my eyes. They had an incredible draft. I think they'll be a part of the mix too, man. So I feel you, man. And at the end of the day, Doug and I often have this debate as we get into the NFL season too, with your predictions, you can't hold me to the fire like you just said earlier. You can't hold me to the fire in mid-July about my thoughts about the upcoming season when they got to go through preseason, when they got to go through training camp, when we got to see who's going to be standing. There's going to be some players that don't make the team. There's going to be some guys that come in next week after the rookies are all in. There'll be some guys that come in next week, and they might be in the building or be on the field, but because of the contract situation, like you mentioned with Watt, they may not dress. They may not play. You go hold me to the fire because I picked them. So I get it, and I understand.
I would rather do or play this game, Stu, about about a team or a situation in the NFC East.
Okay.
And that game is how many of you guys, or maybe used to, is putting Washington ahead of Philadelphia?
NFC East consists of, for those who may not know,
absolutely,
the Super Bowl winning Philadelphia Eagles, Jaden Daniels Rookie of the Year, and some people putting him in the top 5 of all NFL quarterbacks coming into this season, the Washington Commanders, a healthy Dak Prescott, who, if you've paid attention, and you're a Cowboys fan, so you have, if you've paid attention, Dak looks freaking awesome.
Yes, he does.
They're saying that Dak right now is in the best shape that he has been in the last decade. And whenever he goes through a season where he does not deal with an injury, he's a stat stuffer. He's a performer. And last but not least, people won't give a lot of them any credit this upcoming season, and I won't either, but they've made some changes, and I like Dayball. The New York Giants are a player also. That's your NFC East that you were speaking of, Joe. Please continue with what you were saying.
Yeah, and so when you look at it, how close are the Washington Redskins? Because those two teams met up in a chance to go to the Super Bowl. And I don't think what Washington put out there on paper out on that football field was a fluke at all. And when you look at it, they upgraded Deebo Samuel. They upgraded with the offensive line. They're definitely going to have to sign scary Terry McLaurin, the wide receiver, and he's not happy. He wants to get paid in the top echelon of wide receivers, and I want him to get his bag. So how can you do that? So those are the predictions that I think we can go out on a limb and go before the season begins. And there's no changing on those type predictions. You can't halfway get in the season and, hey, oh man, I don't look pretty good. Maybe Jaden Daniels is going through that sophomore slump. Those are some of the things you got to think out before you make your predictions about who's going to come out of that NFC East, because I'm going to stay with the Philadelphia Eagles.
Do you think that McLaurin deserves Jamar Chase money? Do you think that McLaurin deserves Jefferson money in Minnesota? What do you think is going to happen with that deal?
Please hear me when I'm saying this, Stu. I'm all about guys making money and guys ripping up contracts, guys holding out. But, man, where does it stop? Where does it stop? I mean, he's making $25 million a year. He has one more year left on his contract. I get it to where I want security. What if I get injured? I get that. But you can't be everybody can't be top 10. Everybody can't be top 5. I would ask you this. What do you say? What do you say about age difference? Is a 24-year-old wide receiver, are you going to look at him differently than a 30-year-old? Because some of this, the reason why I asked that question, Stu, because some of this is because of Garrett Wilson getting his money.
Yeah.
Garrett Wilson got his money. Ohio State, both of those guys went to Ohio State. Garrett Wilson had 3 straight 1,000-yard seasons since he got into the league. Well-deserved. So now Scary Terry's looking at this wide receiver money and saying, where do I lie? And not only that, reading up and researching, he's a community guy. He's a Redskin culture guy. He's done nothing but uplift and been a part of Daniel Snyder, now a part of the new ownership. So he's the guy that you want on the team, and what he developed chemistry-wise, 13 touchdowns in Jaden Daniels' first year. He deserves to get paid. He definitely deserves to get paid. What I would ask him and his agent, how much? So, yes, he definitely deserves to get paid, but he has to have in his mindset, and which is hard for competitors, I'm not those guys.
Okay.
That's hard to say, but he's not those guys.
You want McLaurin or do you want Chase?
Chase.
You want Jefferson or do you want McLaurin?
Jefferson.
You want CeeDee Lamb or do you want McLaurin?
Lamb.
You want DK Metcalf or do you want McLaurin?
Metcalf.
You want AJ Brown or do you want McLaurin?
McLaurin.
Do you want Amon-Ra St. Brown or do you want McLaurin? Just stick with me. Just stick with me.
St. Brown.
Okay. You taking St. Brown. Okay. You want Tyreek Hill or you want McLaurin?
Hill.
You want Brandon Ayuk or do you want McLaurin?
McLaurin.
Okay. You want McLaurin or you want T. Higgins?
McLaurin.
All right. You want Jalen Waddle or do you want McLaurin?
McLaurin.
Okay. That's the top 10 highest paid receivers to date right now. And you've put McLaurin ahead of 3 of them. Amon St. Brown is on the roster for $30 million per year. You went with St. Brown. But after that, Tyreek Hill makes $30 a year. You went Hill. But everybody after that, Brandon Ayuk, T. Higgins, and Jalen Waddle, all 3 of those guys that you put McLaurin ahead of are making more money than McLaurin.
Yeah.
That is why, and you and I have debated this for years, and this is In the Huddle with Joe Ham. I'm your boy, One Life Stu, Ryan Stewart. Thank y'all for joining us. You can catch us every single Wednesday right here on Stewart Media and Entertainment on YouTube. That is why the difference in salary, if he's making 25 and you've got Ayuk making 30 and you've got T. Higgins making 29 and you got Waddle making 28 and a half, that is why you hold out.
Yeah.
The Washington Redskins, I have not looked at the details of McLaurin's contract, but the Washington Commanders can come in the first week of camp and tell him, we've had a change of heart. We're ripping your contract up. We're letting you go. And there is nothing that he could do if they decide to do that. So in contract negotiations, you're only as good as you can negotiate.
That's right.
And you only can negotiate when you've got leverage. And if there's 3 players in the top 10 that you think shouldn't be making more than McLaurin after the year or 2 years that he's had, he is the lifeline to Jaden Daniels right now.
That is absolutely correct. That is absolutely correct. And Stu, I have to ask you a quick question, though.
Right before lifelines, you got other lifelines making $40 million a year, $15 million more than him.
No doubt about it, Stu. I'm going to ask you a quick question before you reconvene. A quick question. At what point, because I agree with you, but at what point do you go back to the table when that happens? Okay, what I mean by that is that as soon as T. Higgins gets more money and you feel you're a wide receiver, as soon as Ayuk gets more money, it doesn't matter how many more years that you have left on your contract. As soon as that happens, somebody gets more money, and I'm not talking about. And see, that's when the athletes, they have to be reasonable. Like I was reasonable when I was with the Indianapolis Colts. I know better than me being better than Peyton Manning. That's reasonable. An athlete, you're competitive and you knowing. I don't think McLaurin right now is saying that, or he may be saying it, but he knows deep down it's not true. I deserve or I earn Jamar Chase money. Or I'm up there with Justin Jefferson because the numbers just don't prove that out. Okay, and I can understand that, but at what point when somebody like a Waddle or somebody like a Garrett Wilson gets all that money, when do you go back to the drawing board and say, tell your agent, call the Washington Commanders up, I'm disgruntled? It can't be 1 year in or 2 years in, and in his case, in his defense, he only has 1 year left on his contract, and he knows negotiations is coming up here soon. He just wants security with this 1 year knowing he has a contract.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Let's play this game again real quick, okay?
Because let me give you a quick example, Stu. My
Okay.
bad. Let me give you a quick example.
All right.
What is the thought process right now of TJ Watt? Am I going Myles Garrett? Where am I going with my contract as far as it lays me up with the best or the top defensive end? And not only that, what about Trey Hendrickson with the Cincinnati Bengals? Am I thinking about I'm on the line of Myles Garrett, or where am I with my contract? That's where I look and say you're holding out to be get more money or the highest paid.
Okay. All right. McLaurin achieved his 5th consecutive 1,000-yard season last year. McLaurin set a Washington Commanders single-season TD record with 13 last year. McLaurin earned second-team All-Pro honors last year.
Woo.
If you're not going to strike while those irons are hot, if you're not going to strike after a season like that, when are you supposed to ask them for more money? He was All-Pro. He was All-Pro. He was second-team All-Pro, which means that there were only 2 receivers higher than him. You have an X and a Y that's first-team All-Pro, and you got him at second.
That's good, Stu. That's good.
When do you say, coming off of a season where you played 17 games every game, coming off a season where you had 82 receptions, coming off a season where you had your 5th consecutive 1,000-yard season and you averaged more than 13.4 catch, every time he catches the ball last year, it was a first down. When is he supposed to, Joe, and you and I debate this all the time, when is he supposed to say, I know I'm under contract, but today is the day I'm not playing for that contract because I want more based off not what I did last year, but what I've done the last 5.
That's huge. That's huge.
So he's in my eyes. I understand what you're saying, and you always say you want the player to honor his contract. When Detroit cut me, they didn't give me no money to go home with. They cut me and the money stopped. So this guy is second team All-Pro, got one more year on his deal for, let's say, $25 million, which is a lot of money. I'm not saying he'll ever go hungry. I'm not saying that. But if he's second team All-Pro, that means there's a bunch of guys on that top 10 list we just talked about that's making more money than him. That was not an All-Pro.
Absolutely. You know what, Stu, though? I'm not a fan of anybody jumping the line.
Okay.
Julio Jones a few years back jumped the line. Okay, with 1 year left on your contract, I understand that totally. That's called the lame duck. That's called no security because if something happens this year, I'm without a contract.
He's only got one more.
Yeah, and I agree with him there. I agree with him.
And think about Ayuk. Had that holdout where he said, I want my money. And he got his money. And what happened that next season? He gets hurt.
Yep, that same season.
So now the leverage that he has to demand more money is gone, but he got his.
Yeah. Let me play an ownership GM type role real quick, Stu. Okay. And this is not necessarily me speaking, but I understand this. Dak Prescott. Mm-hmm. How would you feel if the ownership told Dak Prescott, I need a little bit of money. I need to reduce that $60 million a little bit because you had 10 touchdowns and 8 interceptions. Mm-hmm. You did not live up to your part of the bargain. Mm-hmm. You did not show and tell. Let me, because of your performance, drop you down a little bit. Mm-hmm. Because what players do when they outperform their contract, they want more money. Right. What happens when you underperform on your contract? Should I lessen your money?
Right. It happens all the time.
I know.
It happens all the time. And I don't think it's fair because you want the player, your words, not mine, you want the player to honor his deal, but the teams renege on theirs all the time. So that's why I'm like, if he's got the leverage and the ability to say, here's what I've done, I've shown you consistency, I'm an All-Pro, I want more money. I'm fine with that. Yeah. And for the record, the Dallas Cowboys would have to ask Dak because his agent has got that money guaranteed. So he ain't got to take less. That's his money. That's his money. And Tom Brady, everybody talks about it. Oh, Tom Brady for years took less money.
I've been guilty of that.
Didn't do so-and-so. Tom Brady said he wanted to have a better team. He wanted more money for so-and-so. Tom Brady's wife was making $400 million a year. He could give up $1 or $2 million of the 40 he was making. He could do that. His wife was supplementing his income, making 10 times more than him.
That's right.
We can't pick and choose with convenience these cats that should or should not be awarded more money when the league tells them cats all the time, hey, man, we can't pay that. You take a pay cut, we got to let you go. So I'm in favor of McLaurin, and I understand McLaurin saying, especially off of the year Jaden Daniels had last year, there's nothing the Washington Commanders should do. And bad management, bad ownership, a bad general manager, they may consider it. But you don't want to go into camp with Jaden Daniels not having what he has or what he had last year. You don't want to do that to Jaden.
No, you don't want to do that to Jaden. And again, these GMs, man, they're fickle. That's what I want to say. That's the word. They're fickle because now your back is against the wall because you waited. Now when it's out in Cincinnati, your back is against the wall because you waited. Hendrickson wanted a deal last year.
Right.
McLaurin, you know he was coming up. And why I say they're fickle, when you wait, deals like Garrett Wilson comes about.
Which is what your guy always does. Jerry always waits.
Yes.
If Jerry would have paid his linebacker a year and a half ago when he realized what his linebacker was going to do and what he was capable of and how consistent he would have been, he could have saved the franchise $10 to $15 million per year.
You spot on. And now McLaurin, he's going to want Garrett Wilson money.
Yeah.
And he deserves it.
Oh, yeah.
Hendrickson, because of what he's done the last 3 years, his sack total is better than Myles Garrett.
Right.
His sack total is better than TJ Watt. So he's going to want all that kind of money that you get that they divvied out to those defensive ends. So because you waited, because you were fickle, and because you didn't understand what the inflation, now you're back where you are right now.
Okay. Man, I tell you what, it's your boy One Life Student Ryan Stewart. He's Joe Hamilton. Every Wednesday is In the Huddle with Joe Ham. You brought up the Detroit Lions. They play in the NFC North.
Yes.
A conference that consists of, or division that consists of Detroit, who were 15-2 last year, the Minnesota Vikings, who were 14-3 last year, the Green Bay Packers, who were 11-6 last year, and the lowly Chicago Bears, who's done a lot and who's made a lot of changes. What's your thoughts on the NFC North? Because
I love it.
They lose Aaron Glenn as their defensive coordinator. He's now coaching the New York Jets. They lose Ben Johnson as their offensive coordinator. He is now in Chicago as the head coach. So, like you, as much as I love Campbell at head coach, when you lose the brains behind the offense and the defense that had so much success, you've got to take a step back, right? Who do you see leading and coming out being the big dog in the NFC North?
My goodness, man. The NFC North is, well, I'll tell you my number one storyline of the whole entire NFL this season. My number one storyline. I'm not talking about NFC, AFC, or any divisions. I'm talking about two teams. The Detroit Lions losing Ben Johnson, and how would they be without Ben Johnson, that high-powered machine offensively, and the Chicago Bears, where Ben Johnson went, and he's supposed to be a QB whisperer, having innovative type offensive schemes and doing things that we hadn't heard about, having the running back and the quarterback fall down and getting back up and hitting touchdowns. That's who Ben Johnson is. So that's my storyline. The Detroit Lions without Ben Johnson, not just Aaron Glenn, but in specifically without Ben Johnson offensively for Jared Goff, Amon-Ra St. Brown, that offensive line, Jahmyr Gibbs, all those boys, Jameson Williams on the outside, that drop off. And can Ben Johnson uplift Caleb Williams and that wide receiver core and, Montgomery and then wide receivers and running backs there? Can that be done?
The Bears also addressed the offensive line needs. They brought in several free agents. They brought in draft picks. They've got some studs on the O-line to protect Campbell, and he's got nothing but really good skill players on the outside and behind him.
No doubt about it. And that's why I think now, and when you look at Kevin O'Connell with the Minnesota Vikings, what about J.J. McCarthy? To me, he is a rookie. He hadn't played a down yet. He got injured last year, so he's a rookie. But Kevin O'Connell has got a way with quarterbacks. He was a former quarterback that make them feel very, very comfortable. Quarterback-friendly type offense to give them, several different reads at the line of scrimmage. So that's going to be a tough division. And I have to go with the Detroit Lions again because I don't think it's that big of a deal. It's a huge deal losing Aaron Glenn and Ben Johnson. But when you hire from within, when you don't lose as many players, that system can carry on. You can get somebody in to learn that system. What you do, Stu, is you sit down with Jared Goff. What did you like in Ben Johnson's system? And you kind of maneuver, you kind of manipulate what he's feeling comfortable with. We'll have this stay. We'll have that stay. And oh, by the way, I'm going to bring some new ideas and evolve this thing a little bit. Same way as defensively. You know how injured the Detroit Lions were on defense last year. So you got Hutchinson coming back. You got other guys coming back. And then the defensive coordinator. What do you want to be done, Campbell? Dan Campbell, what do you want done with your defense? Do you want it blitzing up to very cautiously blitzing and playing man-to-man? You want a more sound defense, but the talent is there. So I still got the Detroit Lions closely over the Green Bay Packers.
We'll do this thing that you want to do. This is In the Huddle with Joe Ham. I'm your boy, Ryan Stewart. Don't forget about the Two Live Stews tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock right here on Stewart Media and Entertainment, a platform that you can find through YouTube. Who do you foresee as being a couple of teams that may surprise us, as you mentioned earlier? Tell me who a couple of your surprise teams may be.
Well, Stu, this is crazy, man. I wondered why are you saying this, Joseph? Why are you saying this?
No.
The New York Jets is my number one.
Mm.
The New York Jets, they're my number one. I'll start off with culture, the way Aaron Glenn is going to instill just toughness, accountability, details. He's going to be all in. He's going to have his imprint on that entire team. And then when you look at it, Justin Fields, what's going to immediately improve, and it is no choice but to improve, is that running game. Brees Hall, the offensive line, with their reassured, and Justin Fields' legs. That's going to be a top 5 running game just because of what you see there. And then when you try to lock those guys up one-on-one or put 8 in the box to stop the run, here goes Garrett Wilson on the outside, who you just paid. He's going to have an outstanding year. And let's not forget the chemistry that he has or had with Justin Fields coming out of Ohio State. And then I'm going to back it up with that defense. Sauce Gardner, Quinnen Williams. That defense is top notch. And Aaron Glenn, that's his baby. He's a defensive coach. So I look for that to improve. So I got Jets being one of my dark horses. And I'm going to come with another dark horse coming up that same division, man. Same division. And some of the same reasons. Coaching, Mike Vrabel. Coaching, the New England Patriots. Coaching, Stephon Diggs. If him and Cardi B will be okay. Stephon Diggs. And then you don't quite like him the way I like him. You don't have enough tape on him. I'm not going to put words in your mouth. You don't have enough tape on Drake May to say you see him coming. I see him coming. I saw what he did in the last part of last year when the reins were given to him total. I see that the way he improvises, making plays in the pocket. He is a fast rising, formidable NFL QB. So those are my 2 dark horses from the AFC, and I have one in the NFC, and that is the Cardinals, the Arizona Cardinals. Okay. With Kyler Murray, Harrison,
hey man,
Buda Baker.
Man. People are going to say that some people will say we're a fan of who Kyler Murray used to be. Yeah. If we're going to project that he'll have success after another disappointing year last year, going 8-9 with the Arizona Cardinals. Sir, I too believe that there will be some noise made by Kyler Murray in the NFC West. I believe that Kyler Murray, and if San Francisco can stay and play healthy, that they too will be a surprise out there in the NFC West. And I say that because I don't want anybody to think I'm disrespecting Matthew Stafford. I have the utmost respect for Stafford and know he's a competitor. I know and trust and believe in McVay, but there's something inside that tells me Kyler can supersede everybody's thoughts if he's in his playbook and studying like I hear he has been.
Yeah, but see, Stu, that's not the game we are playing, and I understand where you're coming from, and I totally agree. This is not about the San Francisco 49ers, because if you had said surprise team, or I had said that, that'd be off. They're not surprise team. They were injured last year. We know about the San Francisco 49ers. If we had said Matthew Stafford and the Rams, that's not a surprise team. Goodness, I mean, they took Philadelphia to the wire, and a lot of people say they should have won that game last year in the playoffs. So when we're talking surprise teams, we're talking teams that didn't make the playoffs, right. Teams that comes out of nowhere and just all of a sudden just knock on the door. And that'll be Gannon's. He'll be going into his second or maybe third year with Kyler Murray, and that was his first year last year with Marvin Harrison Jr. That's why I see the trajectory going a little bit up. So keep your eye on the Seattle Seahawks. Keep your eye on your boys, the Las Vegas Raiders, and the impact Pete Carroll will make in a running game, right? And Geno Smith. So those are the things I'm looking at. And, a story is going to be coming out of Cleveland about who's going to be the quarterback. That's going to be a story, but I don't think it's a storyline because of what, Shador is going to have to go through, and even Gabriel is going to have to go through to compete for the starting job. But this is one of those seasons to where will talent override coaching, over coaching override talent, because you got some good coaches leaving one organization going to others, and they are impact coaches. I think Mike Vrabel is an impact coach. He's shown that.
He's a defensive coach, so he's not going to do much or be able to assist May much at all because he's a defensive-minded guy. And that's part of my concern with May. I thought he left a little bit of meat on the bone last year when it comes to how he could have played, especially early. He did mature and get better later in the season. But had it been an offensive-minded coach like Ben Johnson there in New England with May, I may agree with you. But and as much as I respect, Vrabel.
No. Don't get caught up in that. I don't say let me educate you a little bit, but let me
please
give you a little.
Educate me, please.
Let me give you some food for thought.
Okay.
I would rather my head coach be a CEO. I think you agree with that. Like a Mike Tomlin, like a Sean McDermott, like those guys that can sit and be a part of all three different phases of the football game, special teams, offense, and defense. But let's remember who he hired, who Mike Vrabel hired. Do you remember who he hired? That offensive coordinator is Josh McDaniels. Josh McDaniels. Yes, 3-time Super Bowl champion with Tom Brady, under Bill Belichick. I think he was there when Vrabel was there. So that's one of the guys that Mike Vrabel would say, here, you handle the offensive side. You take care of that and let me do my thing. So while I agree with you as far as him being a defensive guy, but when you go out and hire a guy like McDaniels, I think that take care of that.
Very good, very good. In the huddle with Joe Ham. Point for Joe Ham. Great call on Josh McDaniel. Any surprise teams you see making it into the postseason that didn't make it last year? Any surprise teams that made it in that you don't see making it in this year? And then we'll move on.
Yeah, I just don't see again to where I don't want to do this. First of all, I want to say the Atlanta Falcons are going to make it in. I really believe in the Atlanta Falcons making it in. So 2 out of the division. I wanted to bump Tampa Bay out of there and say they were in last year, but they're not going to be in this year. But I can't do that. I cannot do that. I think Tampa Bay will still win the division, but I think the Atlanta Falcons are going to be very, very close on their heels with the involvement of the second-year coordinator, with the involvement of Michael Penix Jr., Drake London being a top 10 wide receiver or moving up into that top 10 era. And then Bijan Robinson just dominating top 3, top 4 running back. Is between him and Jahmyr Gibbs, who's right behind McCaffrey and Saquon Barkley. So I'm going to put the Atlanta Falcons in there, Stu. And I'm going to have to take out, and I don't want to do this, but I'm going to have to.
Joe, it's tough, Joe. I mean, because we want to be right.
Yeah, we want to be right.
We don't want to put nothing out there to where I can come back in a few weeks and say, see, I told you, and I'm not going to do that to you, but we want to be right. So go ahead and say what you're going to say, Joe.
I'm going to take the San Diego Chargers out of there, the Los Angeles Chargers. I'm going to take them out there, and I'm going to take them out just because of that division. That division, I see that the Denver Broncos are going to be knocking right at the door. I see the Kansas City Chiefs still being there. I just don't know if the Chargers have enough firepower. When I look on the outside, all I look at is Ladd McConkey. And Harbaugh wants to run ground and pound, and it's not a ground and pound lead anymore. It's just not. So when you look at that division, that's the Raiders, that's the Chiefs, that's the Broncos, and that's the Chargers. They got 3 in the playoffs last year.
Right.
I don't see them getting 3 in the playoffs this year, and that team would be the outside looking in. It's going to be the Los Angeles Chargers, and from the AFC, man, I'm going to go again. C.J. Stroud and DeMeco Ryans. While I love those guys, I see a drop off. I see a drop off because again, where are the weapons? Where are the weapons?
That's one of the weakest divisions, in my humble opinion. When you're talking about the AFC South and the Texans, the Colts, the Jags, and the Titans, that is one of the weakest divisions. But people saying Richardson's injured, and if you're dropping them out, who are you putting in for that division?
I love Liam Cohen. I like Cohen and the appreciate head coach and the things that he's going to do with that roster that's very, very talented out in Jacksonville. You got your boy Travis Hunter that's going to impact offensively and defensively. You got Walker 3 years ago that was the defensive #1 pick overall. And I just think that mindset of Cohen going over there is going to help tremendously the ball security and the decision-making of Trevor Lawrence.
Here it is. You've talked about Cohen twice in the last 2 weeks.
Yes, I have.
So that's not happenstance, in my opinion.
No.
There's something there if you believe in them like that. It is In the Huddle with your boy Joe Ham. I'm Ryan Stewart, One Live Stew. Don't forget you can catch the Two Live Stews experience tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock right here on this very same platform. All right, Joe, we'll move from that to talking about a disgruntled quarterback, a dejected quarterback, a hometown hero that is being talked about positively and negatively based upon who you talk to, and I'm referring to Teddy Bridgewater. Teddy Bridgewater has been suspended from Miami Northwestern, his former high school where he played in Florida, that he now is the head coach of in Florida. Joe, break the situation down, talk about what's going on, and tell us how you feel about it, and then we'll have a little bit of dialogue.
Well, this baffles me, and I want so much clarification from you, Stu, because you have the ability to break things down the way I don't see it coming. And I'm not saying I'm emotional about it, but I can't see the outside picture as clear as I want to see it. And I put you in my thought process last night. I said, what if Ryan Stewart were to go back and coach the Berkeley Stags, his high school team? And along with it, he wanted to bring some ice tubs. And along with it, he wanted to make sure those guys ate very well. Along with it, he had a lot of uniforms, new uniforms that he wanted to present to those guys. Along with it, he wanted to rebuild the weight room. Along with it, he wanted to do a lot more things as far as how that team looked, how they represented him and where he came from and what gave him so many opportunities. How would that be treated? I mean, where's the disconnect? Where's the angst about somebody doing something for their alma mater? And where's that fine line between him volunteering as coaching and being a part of a booster or being a booster, so to speak? Because I can be a booster in high school. And then I did some more research too and found out that this was his people wanting him out. This was Miami Northwestern wanting him out. This was Miami Northwestern saying that he's doing too much. He's asking his team to say, can we provide our team with better resources? And if you guys don't want to do it, I've reached out to the community. I've reached out here. I've reached out there. I have some money in the kitty. I have some money that I saved up. I've made a good living and was very responsible with my money. So this is what I'm going to do with it. I do not see the disconnect. Now, on the flip side, if you're saying that is not fair competition, that they're getting some perks and they're playing better because this is something that a school down the road can't get, and your school can get, and that's within the rules of what he's breaking, I can understand that. But if you do, or you look at the transcript, he self-reported, and the things that he provided, he didn't provide money. He didn't provide a car.
He wasn't paying the kids, is what you're saying.
Absolutely.
He wasn't giving his team an unfair advantage by getting vehicles for star players and not getting vehicles for other players. He wasn't doing that.
And he wasn't poaching. He wasn't looking at other high schools and saying, look what I'm doing over here at Miami Northwestern. Come and play for me because you will get better benefits. He was all in like you would do, or you would be with Berkeley, like right. I would do with Macedonia now Timberland. Right. That's all he was doing. And again, I would add on one single thing. And he was a volunteer, brother. And he was a volunteer.
Sir, for the last 15, 20 years, just about every year, I won't say every year, but just about every year, I've made a contribution to Berkeley High School athletics. I've helped put a fence around the field.
Oh.
I've helped with scoreboard. I've helped with equipment in the weight room. I've helped with uniforms. One summer, I bought a lot of gloves for all the skill players. And I'm not saying this to toot my own horn.
Right.
I'm not saying this to say, look at me. My point is, I could do that legally. That's not a problem. That's not an infringement, or that is nothing that is frowned upon by the program or by the other schools that play against Berkeley. So you're telling me that if I was to be blessed to be the head coach or a coach on that staff, I can't do those things?
I would have to relinquish those things that I did?
What? So all those things that I've done, if I'm on the staff, I can't do that. Why? Why? Where's the disconnect? What am I missing?
I don't know what you're missing, student. I really thought you would be able to help me out, but
no, I can't.
Because that's what you want. Wouldn't you want one of your homegrown that cares about the program, giving back to the program? So you're telling me that if I want to be a booster, I can't be a coach, and my skill set is being a coach, and I happen to have some money that will change these guys. And then what they said, impermissible benefits.
What do you mean?
And let me present something to you.
Is anything impermissible about what I've done as a person that loves the program and the kids and the administration and the coaches and the people at that school? Is that
the school your kids go to now and the school my kids go to now? We all went to events, whether it's a track meet, basketball game, soccer game, whatever, and we talk about team moms. Who's going to bring the snacks? Who's going to have the post-game meal? Who's going to do all those things? And somebody does it.
Right.
Somebody does it. It just happens that Miami Northwestern is one guy doing it. It's one guy doing it, and he's doing it for the benefit of the kids, man.
Not just, and that's another thing. It's not just one guy doing it. The guy that's doing it used to wear those uniforms 20 years ago. The guy that's doing it and the kids that he's coaching, he knows those kids' parents. He played ball with some of those kids' parents. This isn't just some guy that is giving Miami Northwestern an unfair advantage. This is a guy that breathes, bleeds, and loves Miami Northwestern football because he is them and they are him.
And let me give you a little food for thought, Stu. And this is the most disappointing thing about this story. It's in-house. This is in-house. This disgruntlement, this backlash is coming from his own people. It's coming from Miami Northwestern. He went back to his alma mater. He didn't like the way things were going. He didn't like the thing that it was makeshift. He didn't like the facilities. He asked for the community. He was begging for resources to get it back to the Miami Northwestern that he left, that he loved. And they had a lot of pushback. They had a lot of pushback within that they wanted him out. They didn't want him to be around the program, and he couldn't quite understand that. Then why would I be trying to do everything in my power to get us back, and you guys don't want that?
We'll show another side of the Teddy Bridgewater story more than likely next week, unless some things happen throughout the course of the week that changes that. But, sir, one of the infringements or one of the things that was frowned upon was $1,300 to $1,500 worth of Uber rides.
Mm-hmm.
I called a buddy down there and talked to him. I said, man, why is Teddy spending $1,500 on Uber rides for these kids? What is he? Is he getting them Uber rides so they can go smash their girlfriends at night or something? I mean, what's being frowned upon that? He goes, hey, man, there's some of those kids that have parents who may not have made it home last night to get their kids to practice. And when they contact the coach says, okay, I can't leave and come pick you up right now, but you know what? Let me just send you an Uber. He's a lifeline to these kids. Some of these kids wouldn't be able to get to the school to lift, to work out, to run, or to practice. Some of these kids wouldn't be able to get to the school to go to class if someone didn't step up and pay for their Uber. So you mad at him for caring about these kids?
And let's talk about the recovery. The ice tub, to be able to have those guys' body come back to them to where it's normal. Because and another thing I'm really happy about Teddy Bridgewater too, Stu, the meals. A lot of people would say it's excessive about the meals that he provided. $2,200 a week, if I'm not mistaken. But you know where he's getting those meals from? The community, the mom and pop shops, the people that might not get as much income or have a successful business. He's supporting all that. For right now, I'm seeing him doing everything right. Now, what's the difference between him sending an Uber ride than him providing a ride himself?
Right.
Or one of the assistant coaches going and picking up the kid?
It's the same thing. Hey, man, I go to St. Mary's Road United Methodist Church here in Columbus. And on Wednesdays, my wife goes and works at the church. On Sunday mornings before the service, my wife goes and does Sunday Bible study and Bible school with the kids. And the church has a bus and volunteers that go to the church that go pick up the kids for Wednesday's Bible study. And they go pick up the kids for Sunday school. That's all Teddy's doing, providing a way for these kids to get to the Lord. That's all that's what the church is doing.
Yeah.
The neighborhood that these kids grow up in that attend the church, they don't have the means, and the parents don't have the will or the care or whatever to get the kids to church. So the church provides a way for them. What's wrong with that?
There's nothing
Y'all
wrong.
mad at Teddy because he wants the kids to be on campus?
Come on.
Y'all
Stu.
mad at Teddy because Teddy wants the kids to make it to the weight room? Y'all mad at Teddy because Teddy's providing a way to get the kids out of a neighborhood that is questionable, so they say. Y'all mad at Teddy for that? Now, lovely Mocha Bella lives in Miami.
Ooh.
Teddy Bridgewater was doing too much.
Outside of this, now if she is, saying something outside of just what I've read about the money, the food, the Uber ride, the taking care of your body, how can it be doing too much? How can it be doing too much? Because again, that's 6A, that's the highest level of all in Florida, and that's South Florida, to where they play high level football.
Mm-hmm.
He wants the best of the best, and he has it. He has it. I think there's a little bit of jealousy going on, brother.
Maybe they're salty because he went back and played for a little while in the National Football League. That's possible.
Well, Stu, you know how petty you have to be for a guy in Teddy Bridgewater's situation to donate all that money, give all that money away, and he has the opportunity to maybe make it to a Super Bowl. Don't you know when the Detroit Lions got blown out last year in the divisional round, he played 3 snaps. I mean, he came in the game. So you're gonna hold that against the man to come back and try to, live out his dream more and more in the NFL? No. Unless I'm not privy to some things that's really, really behind the scenes, I see nothing wrong with Teddy Bridgewater and what he's doing. And he won the championship. Come on, man.
Y'all not looking at the big picture. No coach in the 305 is doing this. Another one from Mocha Bella.
Mocha Bella, a shout out to you, and I love where you're coming from, but I would go on a limb and say that no coach in the 305 is Teddy Bridgewater. I mean, he is a 12-year NFL vet with money.
He's made more than $50 to $60 million over his career. Mocha Bella again, Joe Hammond's the parent school alumni. Younger brother, a lot of these schools have gatekeepers being controlled by outside forces. A lot of state funds matriculate to these schools that never get put to the use that it needs to at these schools.
That's interesting. Mocha Bella said something that's very interesting to me. It's the parents and the school administration. So that's the parents in the school administration at Miami Northwestern, man.
Good old-fashioned hate.
at the school, Stu.
Good old-fashioned hate, good old-fashioned jealousy, good old-fashioned envy, some would say.
Can you imagine one of your brothers, and one comes to mind, he likes the big green egg, and I see him all the time. I'm not going to call names, because he's my boy too. But can you imagine him you coming and doing the same things that Teddy Bridgewater's doing, and he's the one throwing up the red flag. He's the one,
man. He's the one snitching from within. Hey, thank y'all for being here. That's our time. Thank y'all for being here. Joe, A+ to you. Well done, sir.
Oh,
A+
man.
to everybody in the chat room. Thank y'all for being here. Thank y'all for chilling, man. We really, really appreciate it. We're going to cover one more part of the Teddy Bridgewater situation. Yeah. And as a matter of fact, Joe, my wife just went out of town for a few days, so maybe we pop on and do a pop-up sometime this week to cover this Teddy Bridgewater thing.
I think we should.
With training camps and stuff coming, everybody reporting, within the next 7 days, there's going to be so many things that we want to discuss and talk about. We won't be able to give the other side of the Teddy Bridgewater situation the just due that it deserves. So y'all stay tuned. Y'all make sure you subscribe to the network so you can know when we're coming. Joe and I and maybe a few other people will jump on and cover the other side of the Teddy Bridgewater issue, which needs to be covered. It is deep. And I got wind of it by watching The Pivot with Ryan Clark and those guys, and Channing and Fred Taylor. And I was blown away with what I saw. Blown away. We'll come back this week and share that with y'all and then talk about it, because I'm sure there'll be some choice thoughts. A+ to everybody in the chat room. A+ to you, Ham. Really appreciate you, man. Good job. And we talk next week, homie.
Good stuff, brother.
All right, that's your boy, Joe Ham. I'm your boy, One Life Stu, Ryan Stewart. Thank y'all for being here. We really appreciate y'all being here. God bless you all. Don't forget, tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock, the Two Live Stews and the Two Live Stews Experience. Me and my brother, Doug. Tree Taylor will be there, even though I think she's still in Madrid or Russia somewhere. The great and lovely Arlie Michelle will be there to do the entertainment, and we're looking forward to spending time with you again tomorrow at 7 a.m. Two Live Stews Experience right here on Stewart Media and Entertainment. Peace and blessings, y'all. We really, really, really appreciate you.